Today, we're talking about what's in store for you for 2020 and Year of the Metal Rat. Hi everyone, I'm Donna Stellhorn. I do videos on astrology and Feng Shui, and today we are talking about what is in store for all the signs, each sign of the zodiac for the year 2020, Year of the Metal Rats. Now, I, of course, read a whole book on this, which I hope you will check out on Amazon. I'll leave a link to that book in the description box below. But I wanted to give you guys an kind of an overview and a quick update about what you can expect from 2020. And so we're going to go through each and every sign. So because you may be, like people who are You're the Pig, don't want to wade through all the signs, I'm going to put timestamps in the description box below. And so you can jump right to your sign. But I do hope that you will listen to the entire video because you might have a friend who's born in the year of the tiger, or you might have a teacher or a boss who's born in the year of the rabbit, and you want to know what's up for them too. So with that said, if you're new to my channel, thank you so much for visiting. Please hit that subscribe button. And also, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps the channel. All right, this is the year of the metal rat, and that means if you're born in the year of the rat, it is your special year. This is your big year, the beginning of your new 12-year cycle. And so while that is reason to celebrate, it also means that everything you've been doing for the last 12 years, you're done with. You don't want to do anymore. You want new energy, and so you're very focused on, well, what can I do that's new? Perhaps it is that you want to change jobs, or maybe you want to move, or maybe you're looking at changing your relationship. In fact, anybody who is born in the year of the rat is probably taking a close assessment of all the things that they like in their life and don't like in their life, and they are checking off the boxes to say, all right, this is no longer going to happen in my life. Maybe it's a bad job and you say, that's it, I am done with this. I'm going to find a new job so that I can move forward. So if you haven't done this already, it's a really good idea, because you are entering your you are entering your first seed planting year. Now that you get a 3-year seed planting time, and during this time, every new thing that you go out and do is going to bring some opportunities. So really, really good time for trying new things, meeting new people, going new places, any new thing you try. I mean anything, like try a new toothpaste, go to a new restaurant, try a new grocery store, do anything different will bring opportunities. Now, when we look specifically at the energies for 2020, what we see is a lot of energy up in your house of career. For you guys born in the year of the rat, this is definitely a time where there's so much focus on career, where you may be taking talents and abilities that you've created and earned and grown over the last 12 years, but doing something brand new with it. Or if you have been really working hard and cultivating something new in a career, this could be the time where you actually get the job in your chosen field, or you see some real growth in something you've been working on for a very long time. So, but again, as I said before, this is a seed planting time, and that means you need to think of new ways of doing old stuff. And so, great deal of focus on career and reputation. Now, we also see a lot of energy and focus on home and family. And so this could mean that you're thinking about moving. A lot of times when people do their big special year, they do make a big move. But it also could be that you're moving the furniture around. You might be doing renovation projects, decorating, things like that. And when you do things related with home, it can bring some real happiness. So give that a thought, like reach out to relatives who live far away, connect with everybody that is your spiritual family, really build that community. Now, also what you're doing is you are showing changes in your income this year, and that's can be extremely good. So it means that the more seeds you plant, the more opportunities you're going to have to make more money. And this is money from all different kinds of sources. So that is really expand your thinking to, how can I make some passive income online? Maybe you want to maybe you have a book you've been working on. Maybe it's finally time to launch that book, or perhaps you're doing a second job on the side, but there is changes in your income. And so if you're thinking that you're on a fixed income and that it's not going to change, do know that it is going to change. And so it's better that you create the change rather than something external happening that is creating that change. Now, additionally, you are showing a great deal of energy in the area of psychic ability and spirituality. And this means that you can tap in to more opportunities and more money if you will do a spiritual practice on a regular basis. Anything that hones your psychic ability, that really increases your trust in your intuition and your connection with the powers that be, all of those things would be really good. So I don't know if you hear that noise. That's my cat snoring. So apparently he's loving this video. Okay, I think he stopped. So it also means that you might want to take up a daily meditation practice. You may want to light a candle every day, or perhaps if you go to a religious like a building, like a church, a building, like if you go to church, that you would do that on a very regular basis. So, but the more you connect spiritually, the better off you're going to be overall in your life. Now, there are going to be a couple of eclipses, and those eclipses will be centered in your areas of home, family, let's see, also communication and travel. A little bit in legal matters too. So if there are things related to those, eclipses can bring some disruption. Eclipses really do is they bring an opportunity for you to end something and move into something else. And so with it hitting those areas of your life, you want to pay particular attention. If you know something needs to change, then make that change on your own. Remember, with eclipses, you always want to grab your surfboard and go surfing rather than just stand there and be hit by the wave. So with that said, if you have like things that you need to communicate, if you've been meaning to get on social media or finish your book or your blog, your podcast, get those things done. If you do have a legal matter, especially one hanging over from the past, you definitely want to put some time and energy into getting that completed. And then, of course, we already talked about all the energy you're doing with career and your home. So those are the areas of life that really need the focus this year. Okay, for those of you Ox natives, you are in the last year of your 12-year cycle. So you are in the very last year of the seed saving period. And this means that you want to take everything that you've learned and done over the last 11 years and really capitalize on it now. This is a time where you really want to reflect on what's working in your life and look at everything that you've accumulated and say, all right, what do I want to take into the next 12 years when you start your 12-year cycle in 2021. So you really want to focus on, all right, what in my life do I need to take forward with me? Skills and people and those things that are precious to you. And what are you just dragging along year after year? So in your last year of your 12-year cycle, it's super important to declutter, to really just take a look at everything that's there. And we're talking talking about both physically, but also looking around at what is going. Sorry, the cat's up. Looking at what is going on in your life digitally, and does that need to change? Do you need to really change how you are connecting with other people? Are you accumulating people in your life who are important and helpful and happy and all of that? Or are you just hanging on to some old connections that are bringing you down? Now, when we look at your chart, we see a great deal of activity in your areas of travel and publishing and religion and spirituality and education. And so those of you born in the year of the ox may be thinking about going back to school, or perhaps you're in the middle of getting a degree. And so super important to really buckle down, get that degree finished. And in fact, if you are in the middle and you have a couple of years left, what can you do to accelerate it? Or what can you do to make it more effective? So, if you're constantly putting in all-nighters, if you're finding that you are behind in a lot of things that you're doing, well, consider, how can I change my study habits to make this better, to make this more efficient? Now, you're also doing a lot of energy in the area of travel, as I said, legal matters and things like that. This means that you're probably going to be signing some contracts this year. This could be contracts for employment, contracts for a house, buying a car, or perhaps you're doing some sort of business deal. So, and these are contracts that you should actually read over very carefully before signing, so you know what you're doing. If you're planning some travel, you do have some big travel opportunities. These could be for work or business, or you may be traveling for pleasure, but you do want to stay flexible because there could be interruptions in your plans. Now, you show quite a bit of happiness if you focus some time and energy on writing, communication, and your siblings. So if you have siblings out there, it's time to reach out to those siblings and make that connection. Make it deeper, a more meaningful relationship with those siblings. But additionally, this is a very, very good time for you to do lots of writing and communicating with others and to work on your communication skills. So maybe that means you're going to Toastmasters, or do improv, or take an acting class, or things like that. If you've wanted to do voiceover, or maybe start a podcast, really great year for that. Now, it does show that changes of your physical self are quite possible this year. So if you wanted to lose weight, oh, absolutely, this is the year that you can do it. And I do have a program that is coming up that is on Feng Shui for weight loss, which really, really works. And so I'm going to leave some information about that in the description box below, so do check that out. But this is changes in your physical self from all different perspectives. So it could be that you're changing your hairstyle. You could be changing, maybe you're getting some plastic surgery. Maybe you're changing how you dress, how you walk, looking at your posture and things like that. So any changes to physical self are really highlighted this year. Now, you also show that there is a need for you to think about your friendships and the people that you spend the most time with, and see if they are adding to your life and helping you connect with yourself on a deeper level, or if they're just distractions. If you're saying to yourself, well, I don't want to drink anymore, and yet all your friends drink and that's all they want to do, maybe it's time to expand that circle of friends. When we look at the upcoming eclipses, we have a lot of activity in your house of money, in your house of resources from other people, but also we're doing a little bit of energy in that area of education and communication. And so this says that you can communicate and actually make more money. So this is about looking at what your investments are doing and making sure, because eclipses can bring some interruptions and things. So maybe you have to change brokers, maybe you have to change brokerage houses, or maybe you just have to start investing or start putting money away in a retirement fund or something like that. So, but this does give you a burst of energy and opportunities to do that. And since it's connected to education and communication, consider taking a class or go find a friend who does do investing to help you make more money, because you can bring in money from multiple sources this year if you're paying attention. For those of you born in the year of the tiger, you are in the second year of your 3-year seed saving period. And this means that you are taking all the things that you have learned over the past 10 years and capitalizing on that energy. That means that if you're thinking about making major changes, those changes could be delayed for a couple of years. And so you want to really focus on what you already know how to do, and if you want to tweak that or shift that direction, that's fine. But making really big, huge changes is challenging at this time, because this is a year where you're taking what you know how to do and making the most of that. And so during this period, you want to really set your sights on getting promotions, which is actually quite easy for you during this year, or doing a transfer within your company, or maybe you are shifting from one company to another within your industry. Maybe you're going from your company to a competing company. If you own a business, this could mean that you are very focused on bringing in money from related sources. So all of these things are very possible during your seed saving year. And then when you hit your big year in 2022, then go in and jump into new things. Now, Tiger natives, you guys can be quite impulsive and high energy, which is fantastic. But during this year, you do want to be a little bit more contemplative. You want to look and see, well, how am I using my time and energy, and really focus on bringing in what you need. Now, the interesting thing is that we see a real intense focus on your area of resources from others. And now this means that we're talking about all the things that other people bring you. That's everything from passive income to the fact that you might have a partner who cleans the house with you. Now, all of that, who is helping you in your life. And it's very important this year that you expand that circle. How can you get more money passively? How can you get more money through a business or maybe a side hustle? But also, do you have helpful? Okay, we'll try that again. Do you have helpful friends? Do you have people who really support you in your endeavors, who really believe in your cause, who really are going to have your back when you are moving forward on your goals? Now, we also do see that you focus on bringing in more income is actually going to be a point of happiness for you. So that's really good. If you haven't paid a lot of attention to your money, the more attention you pay to it this year, the happier you're going to be. That includes making a written budget, actually economizing here and there, looking through your statements and getting rid of monthly charges of things you don't use anymore. All of those things can bring you some real happiness. So when it comes to your spiritual life and your psychic ability, wow, you are having these kind of lightning flashes of insight. They're not going to be that consistent, but boy, when they happen, it's an epiphany. It is a life-changing thought. And so you want to give yourself some time where you're alone, where there's no headphones in, where you're able to actually meditate or just contemplate, like go take a hike, or walk through the mall, but have that silence in your own head so that you can allow the universe to come in and give you that insight. It's also a really good idea to practice the ability to connect while you're asleep. And that is, write down your question, something you're trying to solve, and put that under your pillow and then sleep on it. And in the morning, grab a notebook and write down any thoughts that you have on that topic, because you are going to get some amazing insights and bursts of psychic ability this year. Now, when it comes to your career, you do have some energy that says that it is time for you to look at the bigger picture. Like what is your career doing on a global scale? And that doesn't mean, what you're doing to fix like another country or something, but it means where is your industry going? Is the company that you work for, are they growing? Are they just hanging on? Are they starting to stagnate? With so much technology in the world, are you keeping up with things? Are you, like falling behind? Where can you find and get into the groove of the trends going forward? Remember, Tiger Native, you can move and by leaps and bounds. There's no reason for you to be behind in things that you're interested in. So you want to align what you do with what you're interested in, because then you have the most energy. But you also are very intuitive when it comes to trends and life direction right now. So make note of what you see in the world and how you think it will affect you 2 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, so you can make adjustments. Now, when we look at the eclipses, what you're doing is you're going to do a little bit in your areas of money, but you're going to do a lot in your areas of relationship. And this means there could be changes in your love life. If you're not in a relationship, you may be moving into a committed partnership. But if you're in a committed partnership, you may be moving out of this relationship. And if you don't want that to happen, you have to make some changes. The eclipses, when they come, you're going to have this little window beforehand to make changes, basically to grab your surfboard so you can surf the wave, so you're not hit by the wave. And so you want to be proactive when it comes to your relationship. If you're having trouble, maybe it's time to get some counseling. Maybe it's time to just sit down and connect on a different level. Maybe it's time to really stop and listen to each other and see what the other person needs. Or you may say, oh no, Donna, I'm just ready to go. And so then go ahead and make those changes, because the eclipse is signaling a change in these areas. Okay, Rabbit Natives, you are in the first year of your 3-year seed saving period. And for you, this means that you are switching gears from a lot of hard work that you've been doing. The last year may have been very tough, to starting to really accumulate. And so you're need to look around and say, how can I make the maximum amount of impact for the minimum amount of effort? It is time to be very, very efficient. And that is something that is right in your wheelhouse. Rabbit Natives, you are clever, you are quick, you are able to figure things out, and you're very good at observing what other people need and want. And so you really want to use that ability to say, all right, how can I get the best position at my job? How can I make the most money? Maybe even looking around the house and saying, you know what, I don't use this anymore, let's sell it. You might find that that is something that is highly desired. And so sit down and learn eBay or Etsy or one of these selling platforms. Yeah, those were probably really old platforms. You guys who are younger are probably laughing at me right now, huh? All right, Rabbit Natives. One thing that's very highlighted for you this year is your love relationships and partnerships, and that includes business partnerships. So what we see is, if you are looking for love, oh my gosh, you have so many opportunities to meet the love of your life this year. You have to get out of the house. You have to go do things so you can connect with this person. This is your year for making that really impactful connection where it changes your life. So if you feel that you've been blocked in this area, go find someone to help you with that. Find a counselor, find an astrologer, find somebody who can guide you through finding the right person. If you have been focused on somebody in the past and you're having trouble moving that relationship forward, now is the time to take the risk and say, we have to move this forward or else it cannot be. And if you're already in a love relationship and everything is going fine, it does not hurt for you to connect to your partner on a deeper level. And that is, have a date night, go have some fun together, see if you can have somebody watch the kids for a change, and you guys go and do something that you really enjoy. Now, this is an important year for business partnerships too. So look for where you can do collaborations, where you can connect. Maybe somebody wants to sponsor your videos or your podcast. Maybe you just want to go out and start a business. And so you find some business partners, maybe family members, close friends, or maybe you just want to advertise and find somebody who has a skill set that you don't have. Now, when we look at where you're going to find your happiness, it is connected to your physical self. And that is if you go and exercise regularly, if you need to lose a few pounds, do that. If you want to change your physical appearance or something like that, all of those things bring more happiness. So put some time and energy on doing that, on creating the physical presence and the confidence that you want to go out and make those connections with the people in the world. So, and it would be good also and could make you very happy to go out and just hang out with friends. Schedule more time for, just getting together. Bring people into your home and have some parties, or, just schedule like a monthly dinner and invite your friends. Just make more human connections and you're going to be happy. When we look at where changes and opportunities are coming, we do see that in the area of friendships and groups and organizations. And this means if you go and join a new group or organization, you're going to meet such amazing people, such a diverse group, and you're going to be able to make new connections that are really going to help you. So also consider that if you're in groups and you've been in these groups for a long time, well, maybe it's time for you to step down from your board position, or maybe put your energy into gaining a board position. Or, if you really love your group, why not make sure that that group is expanding and moving forward, and things like that. So changes in groups and friendships, especially new people you're meeting, is really highlighted. And then we also see a lot of intuitive ability and connections when it comes to very structured spiritual practices. So this could mean like doing, if you do prayer, that you do a daily prayer, perhaps you have a special book that you read, or maybe you're lighting a candle every day. But as you do, one thing builds on another. So you might do a Feng Shui practice every day. Perhaps you shake out your welcome mat to welcome in new energies. Or perhaps you go and you dust off your lucky money cat so that he remembers to bring you money. He's calling money to you. And so if you do these practices and you make this a ritual, so the cat is having a great time right now. If you make this a ritual, the energy of it builds and builds and builds, and so you get more and more benefit. When we look at the placement for the eclipses, you do have some placement in the area of relationships and physical self, and that does mean there can be changes in your relationship. You do have to keep an eye on that. If your partner is not happy, they may make some changes, and that can affect you. And so you can, before an eclipse happens, really work on that. You can suggest, maybe we should go see someone and talk it out, or maybe, you just come together and have that sensitive conversation that rabbit natives are so good at. But where we do see a lot of shift and change with this eclipse energy for you is in your house of health, routines, your daily work, and a little bit in your area of sleep and rest and recuperation. And so we are looking at this energy of how can you get a better night's sleep? What can you change in your bedroom so that you do sleep well? that you wake up rested? What are your habits when it comes to your health? Do you need to change what you eat, or do you need to change, your exercise routine to make it more efficient or effective? And then looking at habits overall, if you have habits that are not so beneficial, you're in the first of your 3 seed saving years. And so it's great, absolutely fantastic if you will focus on really good habits and let go of any bad habits, because this is a perfect year for letting go of bad habits. Okay, for those of you born in the year of the dragon, you are entering. Okay. Okay, for those of you born in the year of the dragon, you are in the last year of your 3-year harvest period. And so this is a time where you're still working really hard. You are gaining momentum in your career. You are focused on bringing in more resources and opportunities. And it is that the world is helping you do this. So when you think of a harvest period, you think of that last part of the harvest period where you've been working at this for years already, but there's still a lot of apples to pick off the trees. There's little it's hard to speak. There's still a lot of carrots to pull up out of the ground. There is so much abundance, and you can't leave it there. You've got to take action about it. So this could be that you see opportunities, maybe for a side business or an invention or things like that, and you got to scramble a little bit to actually do that because your schedule's already chock full. But if you don't, you're going to miss this opportunity. Same thing goes with relationships. You might see that person out there who you think, wow, I really want to make a connection with that person, but I am so busy now, I can't bring dating in, or I don't know how I would have another friend because I'm so booked already. But this is the time to make that connection. You will squeeze it in. So, and speaking of that, the most energy that we have in your life right now is in the area of routines, habits, your health, and your work life balance. And so what we see is a great deal of focus on getting things done the most efficiently possible. Now, this can be a challenge for dragon natives because you guys are big thinkers. You always want to, like make the pronouncement and then have people help you out. And that's great if they will do it. But we're talking this time about very personal things. That is getting up and getting to the gym. That is choosing healthy foods over maybe sugar or snacks or things like that. It is about looking at your daily practices and saying, well, where am I wasting time? Am I just spending all my time, watching videos that aren't adding to my life? Am I spending time, watching too much TV? Am I just consuming? Or am I actually creating something? Am I putting my ideas out there in the world? This is also about work-life balance too. So it says, after a hard day of work, am I going off to see friends? Am I making a connection with my family? And because overall that affects your health. This year, you can make really significant changes that help your health. These changes, while they may seem small, actually are materially beneficial to you in the sense of your physical self, your mental health, physical health, spiritual health, all of these things. So what you do in this area really helps. Now, we do have some focused energy and happiness in your area of sleep, and that means the more restful sleep you get, the better. If you have trouble sleeping, there's so much sleep science now. Go out and find some information about that. Maybe you need a new bed or a new pillow. Maybe you need to change the temperature in the room. Maybe the room needs to be darker. Maybe you need ambient sounds. But if you're just falling asleep to the TV, this is not a way to get restful sleep. Or worse, if you're not falling asleep at all, this is a point where if you can fix this, you can find some real happiness this year. Now we look and see overall in the chart, and we're seeing some changes within your industry and your company that could affect your job. That is, you looks like you're getting a new boss, or maybe your company is being acquired. Maybe your company is changing directions in some way. So we do see some changes, and you need to take a look and look at it from a long-term perspective, which Dragon Natives, you are so good at doing. Look out 5 years or 10 years and say, is my industry even going to be here? You know, do I work for kind of like a buggy whip manufacturer, or a more modern example is like, am I a manager of a Blockbuster Video? This is not a good thing if you want long-term career prospects. So take a look at your industry and see where it's going and what you can do to make alterations now so that in 5 years or 10 years, you're doing something different. Now, when it comes to your psychic ability, you're extremely intuitive when it comes to resources from others. And that means you can find passive income sources, investments to make. You can find the right person to talk to, you know, that person who's going to, you know, give you the stock tip or the insight into a new way to make money. This also means that you can be quite intuitive when it comes to your partner and how that person is investing or making money. So you can be quite helpful to the important people in your lives for bringing in money. Now, it also says that you can have some good results by practicing a little money magic, and that could be doing Feng Shui, doing prayer, or lighting a candle to bring in more sources of money and actual cash. Now, when we look at where the eclipses are falling, you do have a little bit of energy coming into that work-life balance. That does mean that your work-life balance will be off balance at times. It's just important to recognize that whatever happens, you can handle it, and that pretty soon you want to take steps to get it back into balance. But we see quite a bit of change energy through the eclipses in your areas of creativity, children, and romance. So if you're looking for love, you have some very good prospects of finding new love and finding an intimate relationship this year. So that can be very fun. If you wanted to have children or expand the family, that is quite probable this year. So you are looking at opportunities, whether that is through having kids yourself, adopting, or getting with a relationship where they have children and suddenly you have the Brady Bunch. You also show a lot of energy for creativity, so you want to write down your ideas, especially if you're not in a place where you can implement those ideas. Write them down for the future. You do show some energy around friendships. You're going to be meeting some important people, some really just pivotal people that can really help you go in a new direction wherever you want to go, because that will help you. Like, one person could lead you to meet this person who meets this person who knows Oprah, you know, something like that. So you want to pay attention to those contacts. Okay, Snake Natives, you guys are in the second year of your 3-year harvest period, and so this is where there is abundance everywhere. That means if you want a job, you can have it. If you want a relationship, you can have it. You are at a time where everything is there for the picking. So you want to start picking. So the last year was a tough year for you because all the energy was turned towards Year of the Pig, and so it was turned away from Snake. But that's okay, because now you're out of that year and you are coming into a year where there is just bushels and bushels of opportunity for you. So it is a really good idea at the beginning of the year to make a list of what you want, because the universe is going to make it known to you that it is right there in front of you, right there for the taking. So you want to really pay attention to that. Now, where we see you having a great deal of energy this year is in creativity, children, and in romance. If you have wanted to have a new love relationship, oh my gosh, you have opportunities this year. You need to just get out of the house, put yourself online, update your profile, and really look inside and say, well, okay, what are the blocks? You know, are you nervous because of a past relationship? Are you holding yourself back? back because, it was difficult in the past, you were really hurt, or you didn't like the ups and downs or things like that. You are the most intuitive sign of the whole zodiac. When it comes to people, you can really determine whether somebody is being above board with you, whether they're being truthful. So trust yourself on that and move forward towards a relationship. And try to look at it as this year, meeting a lot of people is better than just trying to focus in on the one. Meet a lot of people because the universe is sending you a lot of people, a lot of choices for different directions that you could do. You don't necessarily have to pick, just one person and focus on this. Another person might become a really close friend. Another person might become a business partner. So go out and meet new people. Now, you also show a lot of energy in the area of children, and this means that if you don't want to have children, you probably should take some sort of precautions. If you do want children, yay, this is an opportunity for you to get whatever help you need to go out there and expand the family. This could mean that you just get pregnant, or that you are actually getting fertility help. You may get adoption help. You may be meeting somebody who has kids themselves and expanding the family that way. And also the family does include pets, so you might be adding a pet in your life or more. And so that's a very serious decision. I have a friend who's written a book about how to bring a pet into your life and make a spiritual contract with that pet so you can have the maximum amount of happiness, the maximum amount of fulfillment on both sides. So I'm going to leave a link to that in the description box below. That book's coming out very, very soon. So very excited about that book. Where we see also a lot of energy is in the area of creativity. This is a year to get your creativity happening. That might be through art or design of some sort. Maybe you're writing a book or doing a podcast. Do something where you are creating something, where you're putting your ideas out in the world. Now, we do see that a point of happiness for you falls in your area of friendships. So your friendships are going to really bring you happiness and support this year. So you also show that point of happiness where when you do things for the world, you will be happier. When you connect with groups and organizations, you can be quite happy. So if you get involved in world world organizations, or maybe humanitarian organizations, maybe ecological organizations, all of those are points of happiness for you. When we look at what's changing in your life, we see that belief systems are one of the things that are changing. You have new ideas. You are making new connections. And so it is okay this year to take a look at your beliefs, see which ones are limited you, and get rid of those limiting beliefs. This is a real opportunity for you to clear the slate, remove blocks, and move forward. So you might have had a belief for your entire life, but you can change it this year to say, you know what? I no longer believe that. I recognize it's not true and it's not helpful. And so I'm changing what I believe, and the blocks will just melt away. When we look at where your point of intuition is, we're seeing that very strongly in areas of partnership. If you're already in a love relationship, you're highly intuitive with your partner right now. You really can sense when they're upset, or where they're hiding something, or where they're happy. And so you want to have that discussion. Same goes with business connections and business partnerships. You're very intuitive now, so you can see when the deal can be made, when you need to back off a little, when you need to change the price, when you're going to up the price. All of these things you are very intuitive about right now, so you want to use that. when we look at where the eclipses are falling for you, there's a little bit of energy in that area of children, creativity, and romance. So with that said, that means that, Cupid's arrow can really strike you this year. You can just walk by someone and just feel your heart pounding. And so introduce yourself. If you're single, go after them. So, but we also see eclipse energy hitting in your area of home and family and also career, which means that there could be some changes at home based on other people in the house. Maybe one of your kids is going away to college and they're going cross country, and so you're going to do much more. You're going to spend much more time on the other side of the country because you're visiting, or maybe your partner is getting a job where that is going to create a move for the whole family. And so take a look at that. You also do show some energy in the area of career, again, with eclipses, which means that maybe your company is being sold or acquired, and perhaps there's changes in management or just changes in the structure of things, which end up changing your job description. And so we do see some changes. And of course, with eclipse energy, the more that you are running towards the change, the less likely that the eclipse is going to run you over. So remember, you want to be driving the truck, not hit by the truck. So you want to take very proactive action when it comes to home, family, and also your career this year. Okay, horse natives, you probably already read or heard that horse is the sign that is going to have the difficult time this year. And, in some ways that can be true because horse does like some attention from others. But this year, in the year of the metal rat, everybody is looking over at the sign of rat and they're not paying attention to you. But horse native, you are big, strong, popular, beautiful. Just kick up a little dust and you are going to get the attention that you need and deserve. And so that means if you're finding that people are not listening to your ideas, if they're not listening to you when you speak about anything, if you are being ignored by phone calls and emails and things like that, just reach out to those people again and say, hey, I'm right here. So that's the solution for a year when you're doing that opposition energy, is just to jump up and down a little bit and say, hey, I'm right here. And then people will turn and say, oh, yes, of course. Now, also the thing to do, horse natives, is you are very good at being part of the herd. And so a herd is very hard to ignore. So find other people who are in a similar situation and kick up dust together, and you will be noticed. And by being noticed, I mean receive the opportunities and resources that you're looking for. Now, the good news is that horse natives, you are entering the first year of your 3-year harvest period. So picture this. You're at the farm and the trees are filled with oranges and apples and avocados and everything is ripe. The fields are growing and there's berries and potatoes and carrots. There's everything. And you have a basket. And so you can pick and eat. And so that means that there's job opportunities for you, love opportunities for you. You just need to do a little bit of work to get it. You just need to get out there and start picking. So we see this as a very busy year for you, very high energy. So you want to take your vitamins, you want to do your exercise, because you are going to be going from here to there, grabbing different opportunities because everything is available to you now. When we look at where the focus is, we see that it's very strongly centered in home and family. This could mean that you're making changes at home. This could mean that somebody's moving into the house, somebody's moving out of the house. Maybe the entire family is moving to a different house. Maybe you're building a house or renovating this house, redecorating, decluttering, anything you can do at home. And so if you can find a job, for instance, that you can work at home, that is fantastic. Or maybe you start a side business at home. But there's a great deal of focus and energy about home. And this could include even investing in real estate. So, but we do want you to be careful because, well, Astrologically, we have are showing signs that we have reached the peak of the market in 2020 when it comes to real estate. And so we are expecting that things will decline, and they may decline for several years. And at that point, then you could pick up some bargains. And so you want to focus on, if you are going to be buying real estate, to make sure that you make very careful assessment, or that you plan to stay a really long time. So now we do have your point of happiness up in career. That means that you're going to get some recognition for a job well done. You could get a raise, a promotion. You could be transferred to a better team. This also means that if you're looking for a job, you are going to have job opportunities, and ones that are in line with your skills. So that's really fantastic. Those of you who own a business could expand your territory. All this does take a little work, and remember, because you're doing the opposition year, you have to kick up some dust to be seen. You have to make a bigger statement than you normally do. That is, if you used to do one social media post, you might have to do 5 social media posts to get the same engagement, but you still are going to get it. And when the engagement starts to happen, then things flow. Basically, once you start filling up the basket, you have dinner. So you just want to get out there and basically start picking these opportunities. Now, where we see change happening in your life is in your resources from others. This means there could be changes in regular income that you've been getting from passive income sources. Maybe that income is increasing, but maybe it's dropping. And so you do want to take a look and say, where can I make some changes? You might want to look at whether you need to change brokers, whether you need to change investment strategies. If you have not started investing, maybe you want to look at some really, baby steps towards that, because we are going to see some market drops. And that means if you have a pile of cash, you could be picking up stocks or securities or things of value at a discount. So you want to actually be accumulating more cash right now so that you have opportunities in the future. Now, when we look at where your intuition and your spiritual life lies, it is in your house of daily routines and also your health. And this means you're more intuitive about your health. So if you've sensed that you probably should go see somebody about some ache or pain, yes, go, because you're going to find the person who actually has the solution. Or maybe you are wanting to expand from regular health care to alternative health care. This is a great time to do that. Add in acupuncture or massage to your regular treatments, and you're going to find that you're improving. This also says to bring spirituality into your daily life through meditation or prayer or lighting candles. Sit there and talk to the universe. Maybe every night, look up, see if the moon's in the sky, and see if you make that connection. Read about, spiritual practices and start to do those, and watch your intuition grow. When we look at the eclipses, we're seeing some activity in home and family, and this could mean there could be some changes at home. That could mean, maybe one of your kids is getting engaged or bringing home a baby or something like that, or perhaps you're adding a baby to the mix. Maybe new pets or turning the house upside down and all of that. And we see a little bit of activity up in your house of career, so changes in other people's careers are having some effect on you as well. But the majority of energy is in your area of communication, education, siblings, neighbors, legal matters. I think I've got the whole list there. So what that means is you're probably going to be signing some contracts, and that could be for the purchase of a house or a car or maybe a new job. So read over contracts very carefully before you sign them. You also do show that if you've had some issues with siblings or neighbors in the past, it's really, really time to get those resolved. You don't want anything to go into a legal matter this year, and so you certainly don't want any disputes with a neighbor to escalate into something legal. If you do have legal matters that you're working on, maybe a past divorce or a custody case, you want to take all the steps you can to get that resolved this year, and try to work that energy before the eclipses come, so that you are, surfing the wave and riding the wave and not being hit by the wave. So you want to be very proactive in this area. Also, when it comes to education, you're doing the eclipse energy in that area, and that can mean that something you thought you were counting on isn't there, but you can still do your education. Just means you need to do a little bit more activity, maybe to secure loans or grants. Maybe it is that classes that you wanted to take aren't available. Go see a college counselor and see what you can adjust. And if you wanted to accelerate the program, find ways to do it. Perhaps you don't even need to go for something very formal. Maybe you just need to get the classes done and get the knowledge in your head. Maybe you don't necessarily need a certificate for what you're thinking of doing. So consider all of that. Okay, for those of you born in the year of the sheep or goat or ram, you guys are doing the last year of your 3-year seed tending period. That means you are still working very hard, making sure that the things that you want to grow in your life are growing, that they're not being choked off by weeds. That is, that you're clearing out distractions, that you're getting rid of negative people in your life, that you're clearing your house of negative energy on a regular basis, so that what you want to have grow, career, relationship, money, opportunities, that has a chance to grow. And so you are working hard, absolutely, no question about it. So, but this is there's a lot of opportunities this year for you. So you want to be able to look around. I mean, the new lettuce is coming in, so there's lots to eat. So that translates into lots of opportunities. It's a perfect weather for you because this is right before fall, if we looked at this as a year on the farm. So you have all of these perfect conditions, but it's still time to be vigilant. Where's negative thoughts or energy coming into your life? Where are you getting bogged down in other people's stuff? And so you really want to focus on clearing that out, basically clearing the weeds, so that what you want to have grow actually grows. And so when we look at the chart, we see that there's quite a bit of energy in your area of thinking process, communication, but also in education, siblings, neighbors, and that's the whole neighborhood. So, this is a time where you want to actually pay attention to what's going on in your neighborhood, what's happening with neighborhood politics, what's happening with city planning. How is your neighborhood getting better? How are you helping it get better? Or is your neighborhood in decline, and maybe it's time for you to do something about it? This is also about making connections with siblings. If you have siblings, you want to make a deeper connection with them. Maybe you can join forces with one to find other income sources, or maybe one needs your help, but they're always needing their help and they're draining you, and you need to deal with that. So you want to look at it from both sides. But I think the most important thing to be focused on is, what are you saying to yourself? And are you being kind to yourself? Are you being compassionate with yourself? Because you are a very good person. You're sensitive, you are kind. Sheep natives, you are one of the more social of the signs. And so you are able to look at other people and say things to them that really build them up. But are you then turning around and tearing down yourself? You cannot do that this year. You need to be very kind to yourself. You need to be considerate to yourself. If you are struggling to do new habits, or maybe you've quit smoking, or you've given up sugar or something like that, and you occasionally fall off the wagon, you have to be kind to yourself, because berating yourself is not going to motivate you. You are going to do better if you will say things to yourself that you would say to another person. Like, yeah, I know you're trying and you're doing a good job here and here, and I know you can do better in this area. So be supportive of yourself. Now, When we look at the point of happiness in your life, well, that falls up in your area of long distance travel, higher education. It's a place where actually contracts can bring you a lot of happiness. Even legal matters can bring you happiness. I know I said don't get into a lawsuit with your neighbor, but if you're needing to finish up a divorce or a custody case or something like that, dig in and really, get down to the bones of what needs to happen, what papers need to be signed, what needs to be checked off. You can get that done in your favor this year. So you want to focus on that. You may not have this good an energy next year. So see what progress you can make on it this year. But it does say that points of happiness are in travel, and long distance travel means longer distance than you're used to. So, if you are a person who pretty much stays close to home, you don't even go to the next county, well, then going to the next county could be considered long distance travel. But if you're a jet setter and you are constantly flying across the country, well, then going to another country is a point of happiness for you. So see if you can find a way to build a trip or two in there where you go see new places, maybe reconnect to some people that you've known from the past. Maybe you're connecting with a sibling who lives far away, but you can also go and connect with lots of new people. And the things that you gain from the long distance travel this year are very beneficial. You also make big gains when you do education, and this is any type of education. It can mean going back to school, but it also is very much about just like doing an online course, learning something on YouTube. You can, whatever you're learning, it is a point of happiness when you apply it to your life. So look at how you can do that. Like ask yourself, what is it that I want to know? You don't have to learn all about technology. Just learn how to do one thing in technology and then build on that. When we look at where we see changes in your relationships, and this means opportunities to meet new love is very strong. That's fantastic. But it also does show changes in existing relationships, and that means that if you're in an existing relationship and this relationship is in trouble, you need to make changes there, or this relationship could be in jeopardy. So that could mean going to counseling. It could mean sitting down and talking to your partner and seeing what's really going on. Or it may be that you're ready to go, and then this is the year to do that and move on to a different type of relationship with a new person. Well, it doesn't have to be a different type. It can just be a new relationship with a new person, because you have lots of opportunities to meet someone, and it can happen like lightning. It can be like being just struck by lightning and saying, oh my gosh, I didn't realize you've been my friend for 20 years, but now I love you. And so we're looking at a lot of shifts in energy in this area. Also, shifts in business partnerships are also highlighted. That means that you could discover a new business partnership, but also there could be the ending of a business partnership. When we look at where you're very intuitive, we see it in the area of creativity, also in romance and children. So you are highly intuitive when it comes to your children right now. That means you know when something's wrong. You get the message if they're in trouble, and then you can go and help them. You can also tell this year if they're telling you the truth or if they're not telling you the truth. And so pay attention to that intuition. So, also in your creativity, this is where you want to take what's inside of you, and you'll be able to express it maybe through art or design. And and pulling that out of you and expressing it really can help you take what is inside you and spread it out into the world in a very positive way. So you want to consider doing that. And it's intuition when it comes to romance. And that means if you're dating somebody, but you have a sneaking suspicion that something's not right, trust that feeling. But if if you've been dating somebody and you've been going back and forth, I don't know, but there's a little voice inside you that says this really could be something, go explore that. That's where the strength is. That's where the intuition is. So When we look at where the eclipses are, we do have some energy hitting you in that area of contracts. So do be careful when you're signing something. Make sure you read it over. Also in the area of lawsuits, which can mean that things get overturned or that there are changes in fortune in that area. So you do, if you're moving into a lawsuit or something like that, you do want to make sure that you are very prepared so that you turn the tables on them, not the other way around. When we look at the rest of the eclipse energy, it's hitting in your houses of income and resources from others, and this means there's big income opportunities this year for you. You can find different sources of income. You might get a second job. You may find yourself with a business that's actually growing. It can mean that you take a cut in income so you can go do something you really love to build that up. That is okay to do. You'll be entering 3 years of harvest starting in 2021, and that means that money will be easier to get, so you may still be working very hard to make those dollars, but you're seeing growth. And so the eclipses are here to say, here's a door for more growth and more opportunity. So when that door opens, go through the door. So, and we see it for in your area of resources from others. This means it's a very good idea to check your banking, make sure that nobody has your passwords, that you are making good money on your investments, and if you're not, to make some changes in that area. Look at bill consolidation, look at ways to get your interest rates down on debt and things like that, because the eclipses will help bring opportunities in this area. Hey, Monkey Natives, you are in the second year of your seed tending period. That's a 3-year period, so you're right in the middle of your 3-year seed tending period. And that means that you're working very, very hard getting things to grow, keeping the weeds away, making sure everything's watered. And that is with your career, with your relationships, everything needs your attention. This is not a year where you want to be distracted. Now, fortunately, of course, Monkey Natives, you are the most able to juggle different things and do different activities at once. If anybody can multitask, it's you. So I have no doubts that you can handle this. You, though, have tons of opportunities that you want to consider that are there, but they are going to all take some work. So someone might say, hey, I'd publish your book, but you have to finish writing it. Or they say, yeah, I'd do a podcast with you, but you have to learn how to do podcasts. So everything's going to take a little work, but so pick the things that you like and then really focus some energy on getting that thing going, because this is the time to do it. Now, when we look at where the focus of energy is, it is in your area of money. And that means looking at your money with a fine-tooth comb. Are you sticking to a budget? Do you even have a budget? Are you in the red every month? This is a time where you can substantially increase your income if you focus on this area, but it means first to be disciplined about your spending. If you are just throwing caution to the wind and not doing anything but spending money, well then yeah, if your bucket has a bunch of holes in it, you're not going to be able to collect anything. So, but this is a time where you can increase your income from a regular job, but also create side income through a business or passive income sources. You might make a leap by changing jobs. You may find opportunities through a business partnership. So look at all the different ways. In fact, by the beginning of the year, you should have a list of like 20 different ways you could make money. And then you can just give that list to the universe, and the universe will start to bring you opportunities. Now, when we look at where change is happening in your life, that is in your area of routines, habits, work-life balance, and your health. And so if you find that you're having to spend so much time and energy on your health, look at how, what habits do you have that are actually pulling your health down? How can you get more energy? How can you get better sleep? How can you get more nutrition into you so you can be more efficient during your day? And then looking at your habits in general. Are you spending all your time watching TV or zoned out somewhere? Are you stuck in a long commute? Is there a way you can change that? If you can, or Or are you working all the time and have no work-life balance whatsoever? Then, because that can really zap the creative energy out of a person. And so what you want to look at is taking a hard look at your routines and saying to yourself, what's important for me to do? Well, what is the one or two or three things I can do today that will move the needle the most, that will give me the most opportunity in the future? And so that your changes significantly alter your daily life, making you more efficient, and so that you can really focus on what you're passionate about. When we look at where your intuition is, it's very strong in home and family. That means not just the family where you live with, but your extended family as well. This is where your intuition is strong. So if your little spider sense is telling you that there's something wrong, even in the extended family, you are correct and you need to go investigate that. And that means that maybe somebody's fighting in the family, or somebody's feelings are hurt, or somebody's thinking about making a big change, but they need some advice or they need some support. And so you can tap into that. You can also tap into everyone who lives under your roof, because that would be in your home. So that would be roommates, maybe your pets. That can be, the girlfriend or boyfriend of your adult children who are staying in your house. All of these people you have a better psychic sense about. So if you don't like your daughter's boyfriend, you're probably correct. And so you might want to look at ways that you can communicate to your daughter about that in a way that she's going to hear it. And so that might mean you shifting communications, which Monkey Native you are so good at. So you can do this. Now, what we also see is the eclipse. Sorry, cat had to be in the picture for a second. So when it comes to the eclipses, you are doing some energy in the area of money and resources from others. So we do see that there's potential changes in that area. But the majority of that eclipse energy is falling in your area of physical self and confidence. And that means it's super good for you to make some changes of your physical self. I mean, if you're always wearing jeans and t-shirts, maybe you need to step it up a notch. Or if you've been kind of a fashionista, maybe it's time for a capsule wardrobe and doing a uniform. So it might be time just to change the color scheme that you're wearing. You know, find the colors that are really good for you, the ones that make your eyes bright, make your skin look good, and just wear those colors. Now, it also says, though, that you may be considering some sort of plastic surgery or something like that. With this much eclipse energy, you have to be very careful about that timing. I would recommend that you talk to an astrologer about finding the best day for doing that, because yeah, eclipses can bring some interesting results, let's say. It also can be that this is about your confidence, and so a door or two is going to open that you feel you're not ready for, but honestly you are. Take the step, go through the door. You're going to feel so happy that you did. Okay, Rooster Natives, you are in the very first year of your seed tending period. That means you're out of the 3-year seed planting period. Yay! So now it's going to be a little less work for you to bring in opportunities, but you still have to take action, because now all the seeds that you planted, the new job that you got, the new house, you know, the new attitude, maybe the new partner, all of these things, these are just seedlings now, and you have to watch out, make sure that they're not choked by weeds, that they get enough sun, that they get enough rain. So you're still taking and doing activities, and you have to look around and see the seeds that you've planted and see which ones are viable and which ones aren't. Maybe you've got a bunch of new friends, but some of them are kind of negative and they're pulling you down. Or maybe reestablish some relationships from your past, but you know what? You're finding that you're back in the same situation that you were before. You're giving too much and you're not receiving, and it's out of balance. And so those are weeds, and you want to yank up those weeds and toss them away so that you can actually give space and resources to the seeds that are really going to grow. Okay, when we look at the focus of energy, it falls in your area of physical self and your confidence and how you're looking out at the world. So, this is your presentation of yourself in the world, and your presentation is very important right now. So, couple of things. That means if you have wanted to work completely behind the scenes, not this year. You need to be front and center and be seen. This means that you have to lead the meeting. You have to step up. That means if you've been doing videos and you're doing all animation or something, you at least have to draw yourself in, or put your picture at the beginning or the end. If you're doing a podcast, your picture should go where your logo is. You need to state, I am here, I am doing this. This also goes for what you're doing at your job. You're going to have to get out of your cubicle and go to the boss and say, this is the list of things that I'm doing. You need to toot your own horn. And you know what, you Rooster natives, you guys work so hard anyway. No matter what year it is, you need to tell people all the stuff that you're doing, how much you're helping the business, how much you're contributing, because other people are not paying attention. Now, this is also about your physical self. So, what is it that you want to change about your physical self, and make that commitment? You know, small habits and small changes are going to be key this year for you making a difference. Be disciplined about, eating your vegetables, or getting to the gym and doing the things that you know you need to do. So, and that doesn't mean that you need to perhaps lose all the weight or make huge changes like that. But we're looking at incremental changes where you feel better about yourself. Because, I know personally, it's great if I lose 20 pounds or whatever, that's fine. But boy, if I lose 3 pounds, there's more bounce in my step. I just feel fantastic. So do that. Just look at small changes, because what we're really looking for is more confidence, more ability to say, I'm in charge, or I will take the responsibility to be in charge, and make some changes happen. Now, when we look at your point of happiness, it's in the area of relationships. So this means that if you're in a love relationship, things are going to go well, that you have opportunities to resolve disputes, that you can come together and compromise, that you can look into your partner's eyes and just say, oh my goodness, I'm so in love with this person, and they say it back. So there's really strong connection when it comes to relationships this year. It also means that if you're looking for love, you have a great opportunity to find love. You just got to get out of the house, be seen, put up your profile or update your profile. So, but be out in the world, say yes to dates, just get off the phone and actually meet, have coffee. So make that connection, make that soul to soul connection, because that's what makes the difference. So this also means that there's opportunities in business partnerships. So, and those are points of happiness. So find someone to collaborate with. Find someone who likes to do the parts you don't like to do, and connect with that person. I'm going to be doing some different videos and articles on this very subject in 2020. So I will keep you posted on that. So when we look at where changes are coming, it's falling in your areas of creativity, romance, and children. So in the area of romance, that means that a person that you may not have been attracted to suddenly becomes extremely attractive, or vice versa. They weren't very interested in you and suddenly they're calling and all of that. That might mean that this is a good thing to try, but remember, it is this lightning flash, so it may come and feel very unexpected, but you can say, all right, I'll give it a try, have coffee with them, see what's going on about it. This is also in the area of creativity. You may have a flash that you want to try something or do something. Go explore that. Don't just shop and buy a bunch of materials, but actually jump in and start to do it. Or take a look at the materials you have and build something unique out of that. And this is change in the area of children, and that could mean that an adult child is moving back into the house, or they're moving out of the house. Maybe they're getting married, or they're having a child. It can also mean that children are coming into your life and it's a surprise. So if you don't want surprise children, take precautions. It can mean that you're getting a new pet into your life. Maybe a pet shows up at your door, or maybe somebody in a close family member or a friend says, hey, can you take care of my pet? So you have opportunities to gain that way. When we look at your intuition is very strong this year, and it is especially strong in your area of neighbors and siblings. So that means that if you have a sense that your sibling needs you, yes, pick up the phone and call them. Same with a neighbor. You're going to have a very strong sense of neighbors. Like if you get a weird vibe from a neighbor, yeah, there's something weird going on. You know, you might want to like notify somebody. So, but also when it comes to just your daily thinking process, and perhaps you do some writing or some journaling, you are going to get a lot of information, epiphanies, just intuitive, beneficial thoughts through doing activities like this. So it would be really good for just to sit down every morning and do some writing, you know, write for a couple of pages, do some journaling, do something that is where you're activating communication. So you could, I don't know, if you're on a hike, just start talking to yourself, you know, and say, what do I think about this? And activate your communication. That's where your intuition is focused. When we look at where the eclipses are hitting, you're getting some energy in the area of relationships. That means that we do see possible changes in a relationship that you have. That can mean that you're taking it from just dating to living together, or maybe you're getting engaged. This also could mean that if a relationship has been separated, maybe it's going to divorce or they're coming back together, but we're seeing some changes in this area. We are seeing some changes too in your physical self, so that is really a plus if you are wanting to lose weight or make some other physical changes like grow some muscles or something like that. But most of the changes are happening in your area of health, recuperation, sleep, also very strongly in routines, habits, things dealing with just overall how you do the day, like work-life balance. So, and that means work-life balance could get disrupted by these eclipses. So it might mean that you have to work a lot of overtime, or, you know, suddenly there's some sort of shutdown at your job and suddenly you have a bunch of time. And don't waste that time. Use that maybe to find another source of income or spend some quality time with the kids or things like that. And then you want to look at habits and routines and see which ones are building you up versus tearing you down, because those are things that are very changeable now. And so habits that you have or routines that you have could be problematic around eclipse time. This is also, you're doing eclipse air energy in the area of sleep. And so this means you need quality sleep. This might mean you need a new bed or a new pillow. You may need to soundproof the room somehow if that's necessary. It might mean that you get a change of shift where now you're working later at night, and so you're having to go to bed later, or you're getting up earlier or things like that. So you want to look at those things. How can I get quality sleep? If you're just falling asleep in front of the television, that's not really quality sleep. See if you can find a different way of you know, maybe going to sleep through a meditation or visualization. That would be much better, because then your body is relaxed and your mind is open for spiritual messages. All right, dog natives, you are in the third year of your seed planting year. And I know the last 2 years have been tough because you have wanted new things in your life. And it's very difficult because you're planting all these seeds, but it's very hard to see what's really growing and what's really working. So you keep trying and trying and trying and trying. And you're saying, oh my gosh, is anything going to work? But it is. This year, you're going to start to see those sprouts. That's very exciting. And so what is very important is to look at what is actually working. And it may not be working gangbusters yet, but even if it's working a little, and pour some time and energy into that. It is still, though, a seed planting time, and that means if stuff is not working, go do something else. This is a time to try new jobs, meet new people, try new foods, try new toothpaste, do anything new that's possible. So because that way you can really plant as many seeds. That's like having the biggest farm ever, because for you, it's still the springtime. It's still the time when you're going to get the light, gentle rain, the beautiful sunshine, and where you're going to see in the future, the longer term future, an enormous harvest. So plant lots of seeds, especially meeting new people. Very, very important this year. All right, where we see the big focus of energy is actually in the area of your hidden self, your shadow self. This is where you really want to focus, where you take a look at what's holding you back. Where do you feel not good enough? Where do you feel like you fall short? Where are you being hard on yourself? And clear out that energy. This can be done through therapy. It can be done through alternative therapies like EMDR, through tapping, through meditation, through yoga. You need things where you can take, the mistakes you've made in the past, and maybe you need to make amends for those, or just let them go. And so taking all of the gunk and just clear that out. This is what has been holding you back, is insecurities or guilt or shame. Those are the things that you need to look at, process, and then forgive yourself. If you are not willing to forgive yourself, then how can you grow and how can you learn? So very, very important that you look and say, all right, I made mistakes. But if you were saying this to a child, if you were saying this to someone you loved, you wouldn't say, oh, and you should feel ashamed forever. No, you need to free yourself, let yourself out of jail so that you can blossom and grow. Now, at the same time, this is in your area of psychic ability, so you're super psychic this year. That means you're getting bombarded by all of these messages from friends, family, strangers, everybody. So you may need a little bit more alone time than usual. Now, dog natives, I know you guys are super social, but it's going to be necessary for you to have some quality alone time. And that means that when you're not with other people, shut off the radio, shut off the podcast, shut off and have some quiet. Just play some gentle music, play something like, that just uplifts you and kind of carries you along so that your brain can kind of clear out a little bit. Also, recognize that you might be getting a lot of dreams, and some of these will be information that you really need. So write down your dreams. But it also means that some of these dreams will just be you filtering information through. So if you're having nightmares and things like that, that's not a premonition. That's you trying to process all the negative energy you took in, maybe through news reports or the media in general, or maybe your neighbor was spouting something and then you see it as monsters in your dreams. Well, that's you just processing. So if you want to get information from dreams, ask a question, ask something very specific, and then see how the dream relates to that question. But don't do this open-ended stuff this year where every dream means something, because it actually may not be what you think it is. And if you're uncertain, go see somebody about this. The cat keeps jumping out at me. There's the cat. Okay. Now, your point of happiness falls in your area of health and routines and your work-life balance. And so we see more work-life balance this year. Fantastic. We also do see improvement in health situations. So you're finding the right people, you're finding the right treatments, you're making good progress in that area. You're probably improving your habits, eating better, exercising, and all of that's good. But you can also find the practitioners who are going to help you along the way. And so that's when you do explore that, even if this has been something that's been nagging you for the last 10 years, 20 years, go out and look for new information now. You're going to find things that really help you. When we look at where changes are happening, they're happening at home. Dog natives, you may be moving, somebody may be moving in, somebody may be moving out, and all of this happens pretty suddenly. These don't seem to be so planned. And so it could be that you get a job opportunity and suddenly you're moving across country on a whim. So, but it also could just mean some changes at home. That is, somebody decides they want to stay with you for a month, and that comes up rather suddenly, or new neighbors are moving in around you, and so there are changes there. You might be considering a pet, but if you've been considering a pet for a long period of time, that's okay, but a sudden impulse toward a pet could turn out to be a problem. So if you are taking a pet on, maybe consider fostering a pet so that then the pet could go again, and that would also be sudden. Like suddenly somebody adopts a pet and you don't have the pet anymore. And so recognize it's going to be the sudden changes. When we look at your place of intuition, it's around money. And that means your intuition is working overtime when it comes to money sources. Your intuition is going to tell you where the money is, and it's going to tell you where the money's not. So if you are feeling like, oh, I need to go this direction, I'm not seeing money yet, but your intuition says the money's there, then you can move towards that. But if your intuition says, oh, I'm just spinning my wheels, why am I doing this? Then trust that. Also consider that when you're doing your intuition in this area of money, that means money magic works for you now. That is, do prayer, do meditation, light candles, do the Feng Shui, place your lucky money cat, find a lucky money frog. Do those things, because those things are going to activate and build energy to bring you money opportunities. When we look at the eclipses, what we see is there is some energy around sleep, and it does mean that the eclipse energy could this could bring interruptions in sleep. You might find that you have a new neighbor, or maybe you have a new baby in the house and your sleep is interrupted and you have to take steps to deal with that. It also could mean that there's sudden shifts in your health, and so and that might mean that you are a little bit more susceptible to colds or things like that. Maybe you're suddenly getting allergies or you have an allergic reaction to something. All things to pay attention to. But you won't have those if you make instead changes toward, suddenly exercising every day, or that start to eat more vegetables or things like that. These types of things can be the beneficial ways to use that eclipse energy. But the majority of your eclipse energy falls in your area of friendships, romance, children, and creativity. And this means that you have opportunities to meet lots of new friends. It also does mean that there can be this sudden pregnancy or a sudden addition of a child, or maybe one of your kids is getting pregnant. So you want to take a look and see what's going on and have open communications with your kids. You do also, because the eclipse energy can bring a lot of change. It could be changes in friendships, such as a friend moving far away. So you want to stay in touch and make that connection. It can be amazing for creativity and romance. It can mean that, Cupid, draws a bow and strikes you with an arrow, and suddenly there's romance happening. And the eclipse can do that. But because it is such intense energy for a short period of time, you do want to make sure that you're not making long-term commitments or destroying one thing to gain another just because of a sudden attraction. So, be very mindful during this period. So it can be wonderful for creativity, but with romance, you get yourself in a little bit of trouble. Okay, for those of you born in the year of the pig, I have some good news for you. This is going to be a much better year than last year. Last year, you did your big year, your first seed planting year, and that is a hard year because, it's nothing but barren soil, and here you have seeds, and you're hungry, and nothing's sprouting. Well, this is the second year, and so now you're going to start to see things sprout. That means there's going to be young, delectable lettuce to eat, seeds, yay. And then things like, that take longer to grow, you're going to see there's results happening. It's still a year where you're very, very busy though, because you need to keep the weeds away. You need to make sure there's water and sunshine for all that you've planted, and you are still planting. And that does mean that you need to plant more seeds. That is, some of the seeds that you planted last year, maybe a new job or a new house or things like that, didn't quite work out. And so you're still in seed planting energy, which means you can go do new things. That means you can make adjustments maybe in housing, or you can make adjustments in your job. So you want to go out and do lots of new things, meet new people, try new things, go to new cities, even if it's a city next door, even if it's 5 miles away, go to the new city, go see, like try a new grocery store, try a new toothpaste, do new things during seed planting years, and you will find so many opportunities, just like jumping on a plane, going somewhere, even if it's like just 2 hours away, could open up doors that you can't imagine. So that is, break yourself out of old routines and do something new. And that can mean also, just in areas of like health and routines, like, try being vegetarian for a month, or go keto for a month, do a month without spending any money, do something where you're doing it differently, and that brings huge opportunities for you. All right, where we see the majority of energy for you is in the areas of friendship, technology, and the future. And all right, keep it moving. Keep it moving. Thank you. So this means that you have lots and lots of opportunities to meet new friends, to build your circle of friends, to build a real support group around you. And that is friends of all types. That is the really close friends, like somebody you talk to every day, but also those friends that you would have dinner with, or somebody you might call if you had a flat tire, or somebody that you might just say, oh, you know what, I only see them at dog training, or I go to their play, or something like that, because those types of friends are important too, because those are the people who may, give you a job at some point, or introduce you to your next great romance. So you want to build that circle of friends. Now, because so much energy is here, there may be a loss of some friends. Some friends might be moving away, or you're just growing apart. And you have to understand that happens, that changes do happen in people's lives. Maybe somebody's getting into a relationship or having a baby, and so they're super focused on that. And you have to understand, they're not going to be around so much anymore, and maybe not doing drinking parties anymore. So that is, if you recognize that, then this can be much happier process. Now, this is also about technology, and if you feel you're falling behind in technology, well, of course, technology is moving so fast. We all are falling behind on technology. There's no question about it. But technology is just like learning a language. If you figure out the specific thing that you want to do or say, so like if I want to learn Chinese, and I do. So, but I'm not going to try to learn every single character, or even the 20,000 characters that I need to know to read a newspaper. I want to learn the characters that are going to convey to me what it is that I want to know, like being able to read a menu, or a sign, a street sign, or a sign on a bathroom, things like that. So I'm going to center in on what I want to do or know. And so same with technology. That was very long-winded. So same with technology. What you want to do is that you want to say, well, what do I want to know how to do? Like, do I want to know how to composite a picture for Instagram? Or maybe you want to even do something more basic. How do I get a picture on Instagram? Maybe you want to know how to change ringtones on your phone to tell you, when important people are calling versus spammy people are calling. All of these types of things. So you center in on the specific thing you want to do, and then go out and look for it. And actually that right now for this year. That's with all education for you. Anything that you want to know, of course, it's available on the internet. You can go and find it, but ask a specific question. And if you don't know the question, ask yourself, what is the specific thing that I want to know? So, and that's going to help you. Now, this is also about your future. And so, because you are now in the second year of a 12-year cycle. And so, where do you want to be in 12 years? Where do you want to be in 10 years, 5 years, 2 years? And so, it's time to make vision boards, goal lists, do meditations on this, really consider, what it is that you want, because in this world where we're pulled in so many different directions, it's super easy to get distracted. It's super easy for us to go down that rabbit hole of the internet and click on this video, and then the next one comes up and the next one comes up. And then we say, oh my gosh, I didn't actually, write anything. I didn't composite a picture. I didn't, rewire my electricity or whatever it is you were trying to do. That was the cat again. He's clearing my desk for me. So, and testing gravity at the same time. It's very helpful. So your point of happiness falls in your area of creativity, children, and romance. And that means romance could be at hand. If you want to find a new love relationship, this is the time to put your profile online or update your profile. Go out and see if there's some social groups that do, some like speed dating, or just social groups that meet for dinner. Go out and meet new people any way you can, because romance is there, and it's a happy one. Now, it also says creativity, so that means take a painting class or do some design work. That's going to make you happy. And there is happiness in the area of children, and that means that maybe your kids are bringing home better report cards, or you're having a better relationship with your kids. If you're looking for help getting pregnant, you can find that, or help through adoption, you can find that. You may be getting a new pet, and so happiness coming into the house. Where we see changes in your life is in the areas of communication and transportation, also with neighbors and siblings. And so you may be getting a new vehicle. You do need to, when you're parking your car, you need to kind of look around and make sure that you're in a safe place, or even better, put some white light around your car, smudge your car on a regular basis, put a crystal in your car, add some protection to your vehicle. So, but also we see changes in communication, so it's good to change up how you communicate with people. If you get into the same old arguments or the same old discussions, or if you're just stuck in a loop of, how are you? I'm fine. How are you doing? I'm fine. If you're stuck in that loop, let's change it up. Think of some questions, or go online and research interesting communication things you can do. So also look at communicating differently with people. If you normally text them, maybe you email them, or maybe you have personal conversations, and change it up that way. And then of course, change how you communicate with yourself. So if you are negative to yourself, stop doing that. Being negative to yourself holds you back more than you know. We also do see some changes around siblings and neighbors. Something in their lives is changing, and it is affecting you. And it's pretty sudden. It's not something that you can prevent, but you know what? Pig Native, you are very able to just go with the flow. You can see and assess situations very, very quickly. You're highly intuitive. You will know what to do. When we see energy for your spirituality, it's very much focused on you and your physical self. That means you need to take your physical self and put it into the spiritual situation. That means doing meditation, or doing a yoga practice, lighting the candle, doing things where you're physically there, not just thinking about doing something spiritually like, oh, I'll go to church, or, I'll go out and do a ritual out in a garden or something like that. It's actually taking yourself there and doing it. And that's where you find that you will really connect with the higher forces, really hone your spirituality, really hone your intuition, and really connect with the information that you want. You also, though, do show, and this is really interesting because because you are doing so much spiritually on the physical, you can feel a little bit invisible sometimes. And this means you have to maybe wave twice to get the waiter's attention. Notice that when those things happen, that's a sign that you are doing the spiritual, and that's great, but you also need to occasionally ground into the physical and say, okay, I'm back in my body. How does this feel different? How is my body doing? Is it digesting? How does my different chakras feel, and align those. So looking for different modalities where you're connecting the physical with the spiritual are really, really important for you this year. Finally, we look at where the energy of the eclipses are happening, and there is some energy in your areas of children, romance, friendships, and those areas. And so we do have some changes happening with kids that will be affecting you. Maybe they are coming and moving back into the house. Maybe they're asking you for a loan or something like that. We also do potentially see some changes where you're making a decision about your future, and that's causing some changes, but it's more so around friendships. So with friends, maybe a friend is saying, hey, let's go into business together, or maybe you're in business with a friend and they say, I don't want to do this anymore, and that creates a change. The bigger eclipse energy is around your career and home life. And so we do see that changes within your job are going to affect you, and you are going to absolutely 100% see this coming. So you can stave this off. You do not need to be standing in the road and hit by the truck. You can be driving the truck. And that is if you sense that your job maybe become redundant and your job could be eliminated, if you are seeing a merger coming up, or that your company is going to be acquired, if you see some changes coming up, to be proactive, take some steps to transfer, to get your resume ready, to make connections and colleagues, to have coffee dates with people so that you have a place to go when the changes happen. You also show changes in home, and that is, what's going on in your neighborhood. Stay aware. If you are sensing that there's a plumbing problem that's gonna happen, be proactive about it. Go find out how to fix it, or call somebody now to fix it, so that there's not the surprise. Again, be driving the truck, don't be hit by the truck. So eclipse energy brings change, and I will tell you 100%, when you're done with eclipse energy months from now, you're going to look back and go, yes, I'm so happy this happened. But when it happens, to make the most of it, be proactive and say to yourself, like a week before the eclipse, 2 weeks before the eclipse, okay, what do I know that I haven't been doing that I know is going to be a problem? And then do that thing, take that action. And then you are going to be riding the wave. You'll be driving the truck. You will be absolutely fine. Oh my gosh. Okay, that's it. I can't believe I got through all that. I want to thank you all for sticking through this video. I have left some information for you in the description box below. Please leave me a comment in the comment section if you have any questions. If you haven't already, please subscribe. Hit that like button if you like this video, and I will see you in the next video.